BLAPCHAT.
Everything is BLAP.
Everything is BLAP. Here we go. What's good? What's good, guys? Episode 100.
Wow.
Clap it up for 100. Let's go.
Celebration.
It's a celebration. We got the good old California champagne Corbel.
There you go.
Right here, Josh. You see that? You know what I'm saying? Episode 100. This is BLAPCHAT. Welcome to BLAPCHAT. I go by the name of Illmind. I'm here with my co-hosts.
Perfection.
What's the plug with that?
Glam is not here today. She's here in spirit. Mm-hmm. We miss Glam. We're here with a very, very special guest. I want to introduce this guy. I don't want to introduce too much. I'll let him speak on the various things that he's accomplished, but we're really, really happy to have him here today. Also, too, I'm really glad to have another engineer here today. Mm-hmm. We've only had, like we said, we only had a few engineers so far. Parks from Joe Budden Podcast, Jimmy Douglas, Cruz,
yep.
And anyone else? There's those three.
I think that's it. Yeah.
And our fourth, and 100th episode.
Hey, and I'm gonna shout him out because he's super humble. And
Please
this guy worked on the #1 album, engineered the #1 album.
My boy Alice.
So I'm gonna shout him out because he's super humble. Right now he's got 12 plaques. I'm throwing it out there. Come on, I'm throwing it out there. I'm gonna talk my shit.
Talk your shit.
But give it up for Mo Wezz.
Thank you.
Mo Wezz is here.
So, is 12 plaques?
12 so far.
12 plaques. How long? In how many years?
I was saying 3 years.
3 years.
Span about.
That's big. Yeah. So we had a really amazing conversation in the BLAP room earlier today. And just quickly, like, I don't want to go too deep into like the history and stuff, but like you were telling us about this really great story of how you met A Boogie.
Word.
Shout to A Boogie, obviously.
Word. My brother for life.
Exactly. Facts. And you guys came up together. You've tracked, mixed all his stuff. What was that moment when you guys met, and like what kind of that, I know that was sort of the beginning of everything, but what sparked you to sort of like get into engineering?
I mean, with me, I always had passion for music in general, but I went to a studio with a good friend of mine one time, and we was in the studio. I was just that guy playing the couch, just watching, and I'm like, yo, that's cool, like rapping and all, but you're the one that has the ultimate control of just the creative sound and what people in the streets is gonna hear. So I was like, yo, I would like to be that dude. And from that moment on, I was like, yo, let me look further into this, and that
was it.
Pursued it.
So you taught yourself. What'd you download?
Well, I first started. Shout out my brother though. My brother bought me my first set of equipment, and
what did he buy?
He bought me a pair of Yamahas. He bought me like a little M-Box or whatever, and Pro Tools. And I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. I did not know how to even get started. Like, I didn't know how to plug nothing in.
Yep.
I didn't know how to like just getting started in general. So YouTube, you already know.
Right.
YouTube University.
Yeah.
That's it.
YouTube University for sure. I started just looking information. I started looking into good channels like Dave Pensado's plays and
Pensado.
So on. I just could name so many, but and I just got into it. Started looking further information, and from that point on, I never looked back.
That was it.
A Boogie situation though, how I met A Boogie was like 1 in a million to me. It was just crazy. Like the night before, I was with my boy, and I was just hanging out in my house. I play him some records from one of my guys or whatever. He was like, yo, he's dope. Check out this guy or whatever. And he plays some kid. I'm like, yo, who's this? I'm like, yo, A Boogie, he's from the neighborhood or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. So he shows me the music. He shows me his Facebook, like, profile picture or whatever. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to see if I holler at him. 2 days later, I actually see him in a grocery store around my neighborhood. I'm like, yo, ain't you that A Boogie kid?
Right.
I walk in and I see him. So I'm like, hey, ain't you that A Boogie kid? He was like, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, yo, I heard your music. It's dope. At the time, he only had 2 songs on SoundCloud. Shout out my boy, Mr. White. He's a Florida cat. That's the dude that first did anything with A Boogie besides me.
Right.
Aside from, like, we worked in different studios and different places or whatnot. But before I met A Boogie, Mr. White was the guy who recorded A Boogie's first records that inspired me to like, yo, let me look into this kid.
Got it.
So from that moment on, and I told him, yo, I have a studio in my spot. Let's make some shit. And
the N-Box and the Yamahas.
N-Box, Yamaha, stuff that my brother bought me.
In the bedroom.
Love it.
In the room. Facts.
Wow. So at that time, where like, was he bringing beats in? Like, what was that process like in the beginning?
Okay, so in the process, I used to work with like other friends of mine who were into producing. Remember, I told you guys I went to school after like a year or so into engineering. I went to Institute of Audio Research. I met some friends, producers. We were sending stuff in and whatnot. And
got it.
But like everybody else, a lot of YouTube beats, and we was just first starting out. Then we started meeting these good producers, Ness and D-Lo, and so on and so forth.
And then just grew from there. Amazing.
Bomb.
I love it.
That's crazy. You know, it's interesting because I was I did this post on my Instagram the other day, and the post was about, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier too. Actually, I think right before you got here, Mo, about. It's interesting how you're talking about how you linked with A Boogie, right? And the post was, actually, let me just grab it real quick because it really pertains to this, and this is something I really think is really important.
It's on some on Facebook?
No, it's on Instagram. That I posted.
No one uses Facebook anymore. Right?
Excuse me, Instagram. And it says,
is Facebook officially dead?
I don't know.
For our generation, I feel like we don't.
Well, not.
I think it's still a powerful tool
for connecting.
If you use it the right way, I think it'd be really, really powerful. Yeah. But on my Instagram post, I said some upcoming producers are missing opportunities because the first thing they ask when an artist inquires about a track is, "What's their budget?" Without even listening to the artist's music first, you might have just blown away an opportunity to build a relationship with a dope artist.
Indeed,
exactly. And I've been all about this and thinking about that, and I've wanted to talk about that today on BLAPCHAT. And when you told the story about how you link with Boogie, it's like
it's an example.
No-brainer.
It's an example of
relationships.
Just like you being passionate and wanting to learn more and like being like down to work with them. Like, you didn't even meet them. And
I can't be a good engineer with no artist. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, but you could have easily said, "Yo, A Boogie was like at the grocery store. Like, yo, A Boogie, I heard about your shit. That's cool. I got a studio, but yo, check it out. I charge $50 an hour."
Right.
Definitely. He might not have that money to even.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, in your opinion, what's your opinion on that? Like, for let's say an upcoming engineer or producer just starting out, do you kind of take your chance and work with everyone, or do you kind of do 50-50 or charge some people? Like, what would your advice be for that, do you think?
Okay, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
When you're first starting out, your first problem is, am I good enough? Can I charge somebody for what I'm doing? Like, am I good? Like, But you need to understand, to start off, like, period, you put money into getting all this equipment, you got to pay bills, whatever. Like, everybody got their own responsibility. So that being said, like, once you put certain amount of time into something, you could easily record somebody and not be able to. You don't have to be the person who mix it or whatnot. So it all depends on you. Like, you determine that. Like, when you find an artist, I can't tell you, yo, he's the one. Believe in him. Like, you gonna know that.
Right.
So when I met Boogie, I definitely got that feeling.
You got the intuition.
Yeah, I already knew. Like, he was passionate about it. He was dedicated, and my most important thing, like, he was humble.
Right.
Boogie is a humble artist. No matter how big I don't care how big he goes, I'll always see him like, yo, you that humble kid that I once met in a grocery store. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's a matter of also, like we've spoken about before, is what's your goal, right? And also I think you got to kind of like learn how to be business savvy, no matter like what field you're in. Definitely. I think certain type of business mindsets apply to a lot of areas in life. So I think, like, even as being a producer or like a creative, you got to figure out what are your goals, because maybe you wanted to make money eventually, but you weren't pressed on like, every person I meet, I'm gonna charge them studio time, I'm gonna charge them for a mix. And there are people like that. Those are the people that possibly lose opportunities because they're like, oh, nah, I need to get this bill paid. I got a studio, but what's your budget? Versus, let me see what I have here.
What can you contribute to what this artists got going on.
And it also
That's a good
depends.
word. That's a good word to contribute.
Right.
Like, what can you contribute?
Yeah, and also depends where you at, right? Because like if you're just starting and you don't really have any credentials and shit like that, like you might not want to be charging too much because people are gonna feel like, what's the point? Unless they have no other option, they might fuck with you. And
it happens too. Like you'll have like someone who shouldn't be charging $20 an hour, and they do, and someone out there willing to pay for it. Yeah. But then there's only so many times that can happen. Mm-hmm. I feel. What's your take on this? I know you made the tweet, but what's your?
I have a very simple approach, and I say this because I get hit all the time when people are like, when they say, "Oh, I have this artist," and like, I don't know if I should charge him or not, or this, that. I always say, yo, do you fuck with the music? Do you really fuck with it? Do you believe it?
Word.
And if they say, no, I said, charge them if that's the case. If you fuck with the music, then don't charge them and build a relationship. But if you don't, and you just need that bread, then do the bread. If not, then don't even do the transaction. If that's like your vibe, you don't want to even get to the energy, fine. But how do you really feel about the music? And that's the important, in my opinion, if you believe in it, then do it.
Right. So, Mo, we talk a lot on this podcast about the sort of like finding that magic moment, whether you're an engineer or producer, where you find like a new artist and, you guys invest each other's energy and time together. And then if the artist, blows up, then you sort of like get to also reap those benefits. Definitely. So obviously as an engineer, that's happened with A Boogie. He's like, to me, like one of the, if not the hottest in New York. Honestly, just in terms of like not even just hip hop, like we were talking about this earlier today. Like A Boogie is like a pop star. He's a star, and so to be on this journey with him so far, how has that sort of like helped your career? Like, you're seeing all these different opportunities and all that stuff, like work with other people. What's that journey been like?
I mean, still like pinch myself every day, just make sure I'm awake. But honestly, I'm very grateful for everything. Shout out A Boogie, shout out Hubbard's label, shout out my community. It's like a whole big, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than me. But I'm very grateful of everything that's happened. And how can I say, like with me, bro, I'm gonna be honest, I've had a lot of good things happen to me after the whole A Boogie blowing up situation, like, I'm traveling, just a lot of things, like...
I know you're humble, but let's talk about it. You have 12 plaques. Name a couple. Come on, let's go. Let them know real quick.
We're here to talk our shit.
The whole album.
And that was actually a really, like, well put together album.
Yeah, very well.
That's crazy. I mean, mixing a single... It's like, all right, you putting that whole energy into one track, but when you mixing a whole project, a whole body of work, it's like, okay, you need to make sure like the transitioning, like the vibe, like the feeling, like you're not gonna give somebody a street record.
It all has to be like a story.
It's like a movie, and you gotta make sure that it projects the whole picture and that because a project, like I said, a single is like, all right, let me turn up real quick, let me get the streets hot or whatnot. With a album is more like, all right, I'm gonna give them a piece of me right now for this particular moment. Obviously, artists drop different albums, different time, but I feel like a body of work, like an album, is just different.
It's a different experience.
Different.
Also, do you feel like it's working with a body of work? Does that change your approach on how to mix it as well, like transitions and all that stuff? You get to like really. How do you make sure that all the songs have this like consistent sound to them?
Okay, so basically after you like, let's say you mix all your records, you have like you're at a good point, and now you obviously playing it back for the artist agreed, okay, it sounds good. Now you're gonna send that to mastering, of course, but even before you send it to mastering, you want to give it, because you don't want to send a mastering engineer a record which is like a little bit low, and then the other one is super loud, and then he's the one that gotta ultimately, like, you gotta send the mastering engineer the best. It's like a picture. You send him the best picture you get, and then he's gonna blow that up the best he can. But if you send him something that is
trash,
and it's not even trash, but
like a blurry picture, you can't
unbalanced.
make it
unbalanced, and then like different tracks. One is loud, one is low. Like he's the one who has to match everything up.
And it's going to take him longer. It's going to be more expensive, probably.
Forget about the time and expense. It's just more like you getting what you really want to hear. And then, again, your artists sometimes don't even understand the mastering process or they just think like, I bet.
Right.
Nah, when you bounced it in the studio and you send it to me, it sounded like this. Now it sounds like that. Like, what's going on?
And artists are notorious for doing shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't understand the process, so sometimes it's just...
There's some that kind of do, and there's others that have no idea what's going on
Well,
at
that's
all.
a good thing with me, too. Like, again, I'm an in-house engineer, and it's crazy because I just work, like, with my people. Sometimes I work with, like, different artists who are in town or whatnot, but when something don't work with me and Boogie, he'll be like, yo, Mo, this and that and the third. Or even he'll go to another studio, maybe I didn't fly out with him or whatever, and he gets an experience with a different engineer. He'll be like, yo, I went to Atlanta and this, that, and the third happened. I'm like, all right, bet. Let me see what happened. Let me see how can I go about giving you that same vibes.
Exactly. I think that's so important, the artist-engineer relationship. We talked about that with Cruz, with him and Meek, and like they just kind of built up this chemistry where they see eye to eye, and you can hear it in the music. You really can. So tell us a little bit about your kind of working, the mechanics of working with A Boogie. Like, when you're tracking him and stuff, how much are you just what's his work ethic like? Are you like helping coach him and or is he sort of like in there doing his thing? Like, what's that look like?
It depends. It's with Boogie is like a cool creative process. Like you play the beat, he likes it. Sometimes he'll go in the booth and just start humming some harmonies or some melodies, and then he'll come out built from there. Sometimes he already has like something already like he wants to get off his chest. He'll go in, we'll play it. We have the bros around and be like, oh, yo, you know, do this, do that, you know. Creative people, of course. But with Boogie, it's like you can't tell sometimes. Like he just walk in and like even with that record, Timeless, like we knew that day when we bounced that record that shit was gonna be it.
That was gonna go.
And go figure, it's platinum now.
Yeah. See, I love that. Like having multiple people in the room in the studio when you're there. It obviously creative people, but it depends on like who they are and stuff. But I think that's a great thing sometimes, because if you're making a record with like a bunch of people in the studio and everybody feels like strongly about that record, there's a good chance that it's probably good.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you track like artists and stuff, do you have like a certain template that you just go to? Do you have like, depending on
So I have two templates. I have a template for like females, and then I have a template for like rappers, hip hop type of, which is mostly what I mainly deal with. So yeah, I got two templates though.
I was gonna say, can you give them the listeners a little glimpse of the chain? What is the chain? What do you got on that chain? What kind of compressors, EQs?
Definitely CLA2A.
Oh wow, yeah. That CLA has been around for a minute.
Let me see. I have the R box. I have everything being obviously you gotta have a auxiliary track for your tracks.
You gotta bust them. Yeah,
you gotta bust your tracks. That's like a no-brainer.
Are you putting any reverb?
Definitely.
Yeah.
True Verb from Waves.
True Verb is great.
So you use Waves mainly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Do you mess with the SSL EQ at all?
Definitely.
That's Waves, right?
That's always on my mix bus.
It is. Yeah.
Definitely. SSL channel, OD.
It's so
how
crazy.
We always say.
It's, you know, when people ask, like, you know, they want to know what your chain is and all that stuff. I get that question all the time, but it's like, we're using the same stuff that you guys have.
Definitely.
Right? Everybody kind of has access to everything, but it's like how you use it.
Especially nowadays.
And you get surprised. Like, I've been around certain engineers, like Nicki Minaj is an engineer. He's a good friend, and he was in the studio, and he showed me like everything he uses, and he's like, "That's it."
That's it.
Wow.
And I'm like, but I have all of that.
If I show you my stuff, you're gonna be like, "That's it."
That's it.
Like it's something we all have.
If it works, it works.
If it works, it works. I still use the default Pro Tools DYN3 compressor. Still.
Yeah, sometimes you need that one stock that does the job in combination with, you know, like your fab filters or like your waves, you know?
Exactly.
How can I say? I said this the other day. I was in a Neve convention or whatever. Shout out to Neve.
Shout to Neve.
I was telling the engineer in the room, I'm like, listen, if you can't mix with the plugins that Pro Tools come with, then the plugins are not the problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you definitely, the plugins that it comes with is like compressor, EQ, reverb, delay, you know, all this type of modulations and processing stuff. It's kind of the same thing. Now, when you buy into like Waves, UAD stuff, or Slate stuff, it's all about, shout out to Slate as well.
Yep.
When you buy into stuff like that, you buying in for that particular sound, for that, for the characters of those plugins. You know what I mean? But does not mean that you can't do it with regular plugins.
Exactly. So, you know, obviously a lot of our listeners are like engineers as well, and producers, but a lot of upcoming engineers, some producers and engineers together. So we get this question a lot about when you're delivering, if you're a producer and you're delivering stems, let's say, to the artist, so like get a placement with A Boogie, and then they want to stem it out. Sometimes those stems could be a nightmare, right? So what are some sort of like, I guess, tips you can give to a producer in terms of what would be like the easiest and proper way to send audio stems to an engineer like yourself ready to mix a song?
Well, you need to understand the difference between like an MP3 format or even a Wave or whatever. Obviously, you understand that Wave is a better picture of those stems. So you always gonna want to be sending waves. You got to make sure that everything aligns with each other. Don't have the mixing engineer just figuring things out. It might not be where he think it's supposed to be. So again, just make sure everything is in line. Do you recommend printing effects on the actual waves as well? Like if there's a reverb on a snare, or does it sort of depend on like the color of it? It depends. At this point, honestly, with the producers I work, they're like already like big guys, so they already like, even I worked with Metro before. Like Metro, he was in the studio with us when we did a record of his on A Boogie and them. The wave that he sent, the wave that he had with him, it was like, okay, done. That's it.
So as far as like your process with mixing, is A Boogie a part of that too? Like when you were mixing his album, was he there, like giving you ideas of how he wanted it to sound?
With me, I always I work ahead of the curve. So I already know I got this project coming up. So I take my time with it 5 months in advance or whatever. We already recording these records. Some songs will be like recorded like a month before. Some are already records that we been knew like, yo, when we drop this, it's over.
Game over.
Those records like that, I'm already polishing for, X amount of months. So I'm already like ahead of the curve. So when I play it for him, he already, this is ready. And then some songs, we have a studio at his house. I mix sometimes there. So
what was your longest mix session ever, and why?
Yeah,
I would say
why is important.
I would say A. That one is gold, I believe, right now. That one gold. Shout out to my brother Ness. Ness produced that record, but that had a sample. Kirby, the little Nintendo.
Oh yeah, Kirby.
It had a Kirby sample. Oh, wow. So we had a little issue with that. We was not gonna get that cleared or even fast enough or like whatever. But so we had to, and then when we found that out, it was already done. So now we have to go back and make a beat for the vocals, and then it was back and forth. I don't like it. I like it. It was a nightmare, but it was worth it. It's gold. So
Yeah. Do you like the new version?
That's the story for that record, though. It's like.
Do you like the new version or the original one? To this day,
honestly, I don't even remember the.
You don't remember the original?
The old one.
Yeah, so it was the right one.
Obviously
it's gold.
Right.
Just
it worked.
Took it out of my brain.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's like your work schedule and stuff like outside of A Boogie? Like obviously when it's like album rollout and he's working on album, you're obviously caught up in that, but in those in between times, like I remember you mentioned earlier you were working with like up and comers and stuff. What's that look like? Do you have like a schedule? Are you seeking people out? Are you taking any clients willing to pay, or what's your process?
I'm always willing. Who trying to pay? You got it?
There you
got the
go.
bag?
I'm pricey though, bro.
You
You
got the
already
bag.
know.
Who got the bag?
If you got the bag, hit me up.
You gotta
But,
see. This is when you need to be able to know you
Right.
can afford
Right.
Mo, because 12 plaques, man. This ain't no joke. And A Boogie's mixes are crazy too.
Thank you.
So
Coming
it's
from him,
inquiries.
thank you, bro.
It's crazy. So it's inquiries, and then so what about like you know, are you're working on projects from people that also work with A Boogie too, like other
Yeah,
kind of
I've
signed
been working
artists?
with,
and stuff?
I've worked with like a whole bunch of people. Like I told you before, so people already know like I work with A Boogie a lot. So when they're in New York and they're like, oh, let's hit up this dude, you know. So I definitely be hitting up those sessions, and then as well with my new up and coming artists, like in-house people. Shout out to, it's time to shout out my boys.
Shout them out.
Lavari.
Okay.
Let me see. Zay Lay Low, Vontae, my bro Cartoon, Leslie, is so
Sick.
many of them, but
And they're all
they're
artists.
all dope
your
and they're
artists.
already got like their platform. They're all buzzing, so it's a matter of time. So
amazing.
Yeah,
and they're all signed to you.
I have
Or sort
agreements and stuff like that with them,
Got
but
it.
they're not signed to me. I'm not
Right.
that person. Listen, I'm not
You're
trying to put
developing them.
nobody into
Yeah.
no type of, listen, I'm building with you. It's like,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. What were you gonna say? Al?
Yeah, no, I would say I can definitely vouch for that because I was at his studio in the BX. He was kind enough to let me and Cruz swing by, and let me tell you, man, me and Cruz, we walked out of there with a big smile, boy.
Yeah.
Like he was playing us, you know,
Dope.
some artists. I mean, one artist. Can I say it? The one artist
Definitely.
in particular. Okay, so there's this one artist in particular who literally had. One video was a school bus full of like high school kids singing this song, okay, and then in like Alabama, and then like Oklahoma City was like teenage kids singing this song, and then in like Miami, Florida was like a group of people singing this, and like all these different
Wisconsin,
cities.
Maine,
Wisconsin,
PA.
I mean, and the track is hard too.
What's
It's
his
on
name?
SoundCloud.
His name is Say Lay Low.
Say Lay Low. Spell that. Can you spell?
ZAE Lay Low.
Okay.
Say Lay Low.
Yeah. I mean, he's super
Sick.
fire. But on also some other artists that he played. So
Yeah.
I was telling Mo, I was like, dude.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready.
That's amazing.
But not only that.
Oh my God, is ready.
But like being an engineer is like he's like the king A&R because he's like
Right.
he's pushing the buttons. He's seeing. I mean, he was playing me some stuff. I was like,
And that's
I
how
was
I'm
like,
trying
what
to
do
tell
we-
these
yeah.
labels. At the end of
Yep.
the day, y'all need to understand, like, us engineer, we the first wall that these artists
Yep.
are hitting, you know? We the one
You're
that-
playing the role of artist development that
Right.
that a lot of labels got rid of a long time ago.
Exactly.
Do you feel that engineers are unappreciated?
Honestly, not really. Because without us...
Not in the industry,
Not
but I
no
think to
more.
outside people maybe.
Like-
I feel the same about producers too.
Yeah, like...
Because I feel like engineers are respected, obviously, because you're the one that's tracking the session. In certain instances, you're mixing, and you know you're there helping with the vibe. But you know, we've had conversations where sometimes like the producer doesn't get as much recognition, although that's changing. Right? There was a moment where people were solely focused on the artist versus the creatives that helped make the song. So sometimes I feel like it's like it may seem like artist, producer, engineer. Because like sometimes certain tracking engineers don't be
True.
getting credit on, they don't be getting credited.
I do think it's changing though.
I think it's starting
changing.
to,
I think
too.
it's
Again-
changing in real time with
Again-
production.
With me, it's kind of different. Like, I didn't have that average engineer coming up type of...
Yeah.
Like, if you heard the bigger artists in that first record, in that first album, No Promises, A Boogie shouts me out, tell Mo to bring the studio everywhere we go, and that's a lot of hits. Again, like, when you work,
That's the new thing, man. If you're trying to be an engineer like Mo or Cruz, you better get
even
that
with
shout
Cruz,
out.
even with Cruz, like,
Yeah.
Cruz turn me up.
Turn me up, Cruz.
That-
That's
What?
a good
Like,
job. I'm telling you.
Crazy.
Man. Wow.
So it's like, that's it.
That's
If
crazy.
you didn't know then who Cruz was, you know now.
Yeah.
yeah. Big
It's crazy to see it all unfold, and even talking about Cruz too. I feel like
Shout out
You
Cruz,
know,
that's my brother.
you have
know.
these like this like new. I don't even want to say new, but this like resurgence of appreciating the engineer. So you have like Ali. You have Mo, you have Cruz, and these are really just like
Evan
new,
Leray too.
right? And then Alex Toomey as well.
Yep,
You know, there's all these guys out here, and I think it's kind of falling in line with producers as well, where like engineers and producers are starting to like get our shine.
Definitely.
Which I think is great. But the thing I love about you guys is it seemed like you guys didn't take like the traditional route that, you know, engineering schools and stuff like told you should take, which is, you know, go to engineering school, get an internship, and then like start charging people per hour so you can go start getting paid. I feel like you guys were like the sort of black sheep where you're like, nah, fuck that.
We saw the vision.
Let's see the vision, believe in the artist, and really take a chance and go for it. And it worked for you guys. Like with Alex, it was like Young Thug. With Ali, it was all a TDE. With you, is A Boogie. With Cruz, is Meek. Like the list goes on. So
Drake 40. So
Drake 40. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's your opinion on that? Because there's engineers out there that are like, well, I don't want to really take a chance on an artist. I need to start making money now.
Well,
so maybe I should get an internship.
Everything. You take a chance every day when you wake up and you step outside your house.
Right.
Even in your house.
That's fact.
Like, you know, you're taking a chance. So you go big, the winnings is going to be big. You feel me? Like, at the end of the day, you take a good chance. Obviously, you are going to be that person. That's why I said it earlier. You know, I can't sit here and tell you, believe in this particular artist. Like, you the one who's going to determine that and going to say, you know what? I see this kid growing. Let me contribute to what he got going on and help him be bigger. And that's what that's what I'm doing now.
Yep.
Like, everybody look at me, oh, yo, Mo, what's going on, bro? Like, I'm the type of person that's like, shout out Denzel Washington. I heard one time he said, we all have our purpose. Everybody, you got what you got. I got what I got. Well, who days have you made better today?
Exactly.
What God gave you.
Exactly.
So, sometimes even regular people who are not artists from my neighborhood in Highbridge, shout out to Highbridge.
Shout out to Highbridge.
They be people who just trying to start getting into rap and go figure. They got somebody like me to record their first track.
Yeah.
So
you know why I think it's working.
And I'm always down. Like,
yeah, and I think another reason why it's working for you is we said this earlier in the BLAP room too, how you mentioned something about like being useful to people, and that's another thing we talk about a lot on this podcast too, is like, if you want to get yourself into a position to win, become good at something and be useful to people. And I think you're taking advantage of not only your skills and what you've accomplished, but the fact that you're like working closely with new artists and like even when you named them, you were excited.
Definitely, because I
you're not
believe
doing
in it.
Yeah,
I tell you,
you're not doing this because you like for any other reason other than you really fuck with it, you fuck with their music and you believe in it.
Period. And I tell them that all the time.
Formula.
No matter what happens, let's say we do get lit with these new artists or not, like, our relationship will never change. Period. And at the end of the days, you know me, I'm gonna keep going till the wheels fall off. So if I find this new artist, maybe it wasn't you, but it doesn't matter. At this point, we all going up.
There still be a relationship there.
Exactly.
Once you in, you in. Period.
Exactly.
Especially
and
when
it's beyond
organic,
music. It applies to everything. Yo, I need you to help me do this. Let's get it. It's not only record, mix. Like with me, let's make it happen.
But that's the good thing about building relationships. You know what I mean? Longevity and being able to help each other in different areas, because sometimes that artist might need you for something else, or you know, they might blow up and you might want them for a feature with another artist, and that relationship and that genuine bond is able to kind of like allow you guys to continue to help each other grow.
Definitely. I mean, even shout out Boogie again. This is one of the kids I mentioned earlier, Vontae. I presented him to Boogie, like, yo, this is my boy, bro, trust me. Same way how I believe in you, I believe in him. And go figure. One time, Boogie told me, yo, bring him over to the crib. Bring him over to A Boogie's crib. We created a record, and it's dope.
That's it.
Exactly.
So
I love it. I mean, the mentality that you have is why you're winning and why you're going to continue to win.
God willing.
Yeah, exactly. God willing. What do you envision for yourself 5 years from now? Like, what does 5 years from now look like, if you even really thought about it?
CEO of one of the hottest record labels in New York.
Hey.
5, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Remember, I told you, you got to speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence. We had an amazing conversation. I wish we
Really
recorded.
dope in the
I wish we
room.
recorded in the BLAP room. Don't worry, guys. BLAP room coming soon.
Is coming
but
soon.
we had a really, really amazing convo in the back about the mind and belief. And I think we share, all of us, I think we share like very similar,
our own little piece of it.
yeah, we share very similar like outlook on just the power of the mind and manifesting and visioning certain things. And I talked a lot about that stuff in episode 99. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. If you don't watch it, you're missing out. But we talked about, I talked about that a lot about that in that episode and in the BLAP room. But you know, what are your thoughts on sort of like this idea that you really could speak things into existence, like believing in something? Because in the back you mentioned how you went to the Army. You were enlisted. I was in the Navy. You were in the Navy. And after you came back and you sort of were contemplating things, you were like, you know what? I'm going to just decide for myself what I want to do. Tell us a little bit about that moment and how you came to like believe in yourself to get you, you know, to where you are now.
Like you told me earlier, the power of the brain is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Again, you have to believe in yourself. Like, how you get when you wake up from your bed to your bathroom. You had to think about it first. You had to process that in your head. If you process you winning, guess what you're going to do?
Win.
You're going to win. It's that simple.
But if you process yourself, I'm losing.
I don't know, I got to meet somebody. I got to get this person who got this done. You don't need nobody. Again, I told you before, I definitely have some people that I could appreciate even you guys, being around a lot of good people and even sharing knowledge with different people. But I don't have this one particular person that I could say, oh, thank you, a mentor or somebody who showed me the way or made the things easier for me. It was just hard work, and I earned everything, and straight up, like
so the belief was a big part of this.
I believed in myself, period. So when I came, I got honorable discharge from the military, so I had the VA, the military paying for school or whatnot. I took advantage of that. And I went to Institute of Audio Research.
Shout out to IAR. Rest in peace, IAR too.
Right,
they closed down.
I don't know what happened. I don't even know the story behind it. I don't know what happened.
Funding. So I believe this is true. I think, but don't quote me on this. But I think the lease on the building was over, and apparently the guy who owned the building either was charging too much or wanted to sell, and so it just boom. And they had like a 20-year lease or something. It was crazy.
Wow. I was supposed to go to IAR, but I never went.
Me too. Wow. Me too. I wanted to.
It was a dope school. I learned a lot in there. And even the teachers in there, they had good was teachers. Industry people, so it was just cool all around.
Did they teach you how to cut 2-inch tape? Or no?
No.
They didn't have to do that,
Not at that point. No.
Yeah. I went to SAE for 3 months and I dropped out.
Did you? Why?
Because I just wanted to make beats. That was when I was like, let me try this.
Forget all this technical
making my
stuff.
mom happy.
Cutting tape, it was.
But they gave me an M box though. So they gave me an M box and it was cool. But I don't know. So what's next, Em? Like, what's kind of on the horizon that you could tell people, in addition to sort of like the artists that you're like developing and stuff, like any other things you can mention?
Well,
right now, A Boogie stuff?
Right now I'm looking into building, real nice studio, real nice recording studio in New York. Yet don't know where or how but
it'll happen.
That's definitely on
So it's gonna happen
on my to-do list for sure. Yeah. Besides, creating more hits. Exactly. More hits, everything's gonna fall into place.
Mo hits, not more hits.
Mo plaques. Mo plaques is what they call me in my neighborhood.
Really?
Mo plaques.
That's fine.
The wizard, man. The wizard.
Mo plaques.
So where can they find you on like social media?
Mo Wezz, MOWEZZ_HBTL, and shit, you could Google me. Yep. At this point, we lit.
And if anyone listening really does want to inquire for engineering services, how could they hit you? DM or
definitely.
Email address?
I got an email on there.
What's the email?
I got the link. It's the same thing, MoWezzBookings@gmail. Okay. Just come if you know, bread. You're gonna just bring that bag and you're gonna find me.
Bring that bag, guys.
Facts.
Bring that bag.
Word.
Awesome. So, I think we are gonna do BLAP or crap today.
Hey,
BLAP or crap. Let's get
down?
it. Yeah, that's fire. Let's get it.
All right, guys, we're about to get into it. You already know. BLAP or crap time. Not a good way to start with that sound, right? All right, let's. You know what? It's BLAP or crap time.
That's your new era.
Guys, listen, guys. Blap or crap times. What we're gonna do? We're gonna go through these email submissions. We're gonna listen to your beat submissions at random. And if we like the beat, we're going to give you a blap. If we don't, we'll give you a crap, give you a little bit of constructive criticism, and we're going to keep it moving. But before we do that, there's a couple things. This is our 100th episode.
100.
Okay.
Crazy.
100.
And we just want to
out.
pop this little champagne, and we're so happy that our guy Mo's here to join
Word.
us, man. My
Thanks.
guy.
What a way.
Yo, what a way to bring it in. Glam, we wish you were here.
Fucking
Damn it.
Glam, man.
But we're going to pop the other one when Glam gets here.
Facts.
So let's save that one. So let's pop this. Corbo, do you want to do the honors?
No, go ahead.
Atlas?
No, you do it.
Are you sure?
You do it.
Yeah,
You
you
do
do
it.
it.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Just
really
move
much of
the
a...
laptop on.
Not
Right.
really much of a... let me close this.
There you
You know what I'm
go.
saying?
100th episode.
Word. Shout out you guys, man.
episodes,
Shout out
That's
Black.
three years, guys. Think about that. We're 3 years.
3 years, 100 episodes. We really want to dedicate this toast up to all of our listeners, man.
Word.
All of our supporters, whether you've been there from day one, or you just joined us, just discovered us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify moving forward.
Oh yeah, so announce
Hello
that.
to
already.
Spotify. And, it's just going to happen.
Yep.
Find us on
Fine.
Spotify, goddammit.
There you go.
Yes.
This episode will be on Spotify.
So shout
out to the Spotify listeners.
Shout to Spotify listeners. Shout to our iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube subscribers, man. We really appreciate all of our creators. You know what? Let me pour this before we toast up. So
There you go.
here we go. Are you ready? This might pop. So let me do this.
Right, I gotta
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
I'm good.
Let me get it away from my computer.
Yeah, let's
Do your thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely move it out the way.
You got this.
100.
There we go.
100.
100th episode.
You want to grab a cup, so just in case it starts.
Yeah, you know?
Word.
It's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? So,
See, he's
Toast
done
it
this
up.
before.
Oh, you already know, my boy.
100.
We turn up. I'm from Uptown. You
we,
heard?
we popped a few.
Uptown vibes.
We popped a few
100th
bottles
episode,
in our day.
Know what it
Here we
is?
go.
100th
saying?
episode.
100, baby.
Huh?
Ooh.
Yeah, get it.
Yo,
100th episode.
Thank
did like
God
a
you
champ.
got up because that shit jumped.
It did, right?
Yo,
That's why I
That shit
pointed it
would've
up. That's
popped
why I
Josh
pointed
in
to
the eye.
No, I pointed it up to the ceiling.
come on, Emma, I don't know how to
You know
do
what I'm
this.
saying? Let's go.
Sinet.
100 episodes.
That's litty.
Let's make our rounds. Here we go. Come on.
Hey.
What else we got? Let me get those cups, baby.
Pour that.
All right, let me get another one.
Boom. Boom.
What up, Cruz?
Hey.
Cruz, we popping over here, man.
Yeah, it's lit right
This
now.
for you. This for you
What
too,
up,
man.
Cruz?
Turn me up.
Come on, turn me up,
Turn
Cruz.
me up.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
so
Hey,
I just want to put
cup?
this.
Wait.
You didn't get one yet?
Oh
here we go.
man, come on, Nat. What are you on to, Nat? Let's go. We gotta get.
We gotta get one for Josh.
Josh.
Oh, Josh has
Josh
one
got
already.
one.
Josh is lit. He got
And
one already?
We're gonna pour one for Glam,
Yes.
Word.
cause she's fucking here too.
There you go.
In
God
spirit.
damn it,
That's
she's here in spirit. This one's for Glam.
There we go.
Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Preach. Where's
Shout out
Preach?
to Preach. Where's
Preach,
Preach at?
Preach ain't here.
Probably
Damn.
He's probably on the phone.
Jones on
Word.
the phone.
All right, let's toast this one up to all of our listeners. 100 episodes. We appreciate you guys so much. All of our creators out there. We're here to embrace this community, to be a community, to empower you guys, empower each other, inspire each other. So believe in yourself. I think that's the theme
There
for
you go.
today's
Word.
episode.
Big
Is
facts.
believe in yourself. 100 episodes.
And be consistent.
Be
That's
consistent.
right. Be humble.
Definitely.
You already know. BLAPCHAT. Here we go. 100 episodes. We bringing it in.
Word.
That's not bad. Wow. Josh, good choice, man.
Good Josh. Good choice, man.
Shout out to
It's
Josh,
actually,
too.
Shout out to Josh. Good choice, Josh.
Shout out to Josh, J. Jules.
J. Jules. This guy does everything. Man.
Cheers to J.
Things like-
Jules, because none of this would be possible.
Big facts.
You wouldn't be able to see us
If it wasn't for him.
if it wasn't for
Word.
J. Jules. Make sure you holler at my man Jay Jules for all of your needs.
He got the
Like I said,
yes,
get that bag too. Get that bag ready,
and speaking of,
we come with a price.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of our fans and all the love we've been getting for our listeners, big shout out to all the listeners out there who've been showing us all the love we've been getting. I got a little something from Lyric on the Beat.
Okay.
That's a Lyric on the Beat.
Lyric on the Beat.
Spelled out just like that. Who sent us some. So he actually sent a record to us on BLAPCHAT. And surprisingly, we all blapped it.
Oh, that's rare.
It was a unanimous blap. So
Dope.
I got a little something from Lyric on the Beat for all of us here. So I'll show it to you guys.
Gifts.
Wow. Oh. I'm going to act like I'm surprised, but I already know about it. Amazing lyric.
So you guys
Lyric on the Beat.
And
You
also,
get that, Josh?
And also, if you look, the wording on top of all our faces is what we actually said when we heard the track before we blacked
That's
it.
amazing.
They put the episode on there too.
Yup.
Yeah, what episode is it on there?
71.
Episode 71.
See, that's good. That's good
Marketing's
marketing.
amazing.
That's good
All right.
marketing.
So shout out to Lyric on the Beat.
Shout
man.
to
We
Lyric on the
appreciate you
Beat,
so
man.
much.
Wow, thank you for the shirts, homie. We're gonna rock those with
Word.
fucking pride. I'm rocking that
Definitely.
next week.
Thanks.
The
Next week.
episode.
There you go.
Next episode.
But of course, we got to thank the man, the myth, the legend,
You
Illmind,
already
for the
know. Come on,
opportunity,
Come on,
OG.
you already know,
Really?
man.
for bringing us on board. And
Word.
being
Shout
a
out you
goat.
guys for having me, man. Appreciate
Man,
it. Word.
yo, shout to Mo. Shout to all you guys, man. Just like the perfect episode to do 100.
Well.
Man, it's been a wild ride, and we have many more to go, man.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
just getting
excited.
started.
Just
Honestly,
getting
we're just getting
started.
started.
I believe
It's
it.
like we need to get Mo back on here.
Nah,
If
you
you're
already
down,
know
you
this
what
is
I'm
gonna be a
saying?
regular, so get used to the face, man.
Maybe Mo do every like 100 or something.
go.
You know what
There
I
we
mean?
go.
Fly through
Every
them.
20.
12
Every
more
20,
plaques.
every
like
10. You know what I'm saying? But shout to you guys and Lyric on the Beat. Thank you so much for these shirts. That's like one of the nicest things
Facts.
I think anyone has done, especially for
That's
this
fire.
podcast. So thank you so much, man. You're the man. Doesn't mean that we're gonna blap your next beat though.
Yeah.
You still might get it.
Consistent.
Might have
We
to go
keep it a
extra
buck
hard.
over here. So, speaking of Blap or Crap, let's jump right into this. Our first submission for today is by Blacksmith. Here we go. Oh shit! Okay, that's a good start. This one was like freestyle beats.
I was gonna say, so how long? Like, wait for the drops? How we?
Yeah,
how you
like
go?
a minute.
Okay,
minute,
minute,
maybe.
okay.
Really, whatever you
See,
want, bro.
see what it's. Nah, just to see how it plays out. You know, some beats be.
You have to change that shit.
Yeah. See, right about now.
Listen, to me, it's already a crap. So
Wow, Alice doesn't like it.
Giving it a hip hop arm.
Oh,
it's already a crap for me.
Okay.
I like to hear like a bass line going. You know what I mean? Like maybe I just can't hear it.
I want to hear the switch up, really.
yeah.
Might not ever come.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Let's see right here in the turnaround. 54 seconds. Here we are. There should be a change.
1, 2, 1.
Told you.
Okay, it's simple
I
boom
told
bap. All right, that was Blacksmith with our first submission. Atlas
Yeah.
started off
Yo, that's a big crap.
a big crap.
Big brown paper bag on the corner.
Really?
Like ring the
Yeah.
doorbell of your neighbor, light it on fire, run
oh
away
my
kind of thing.
god!
Ah, man. Come
remember
I didn't
those?
think it was that bad.
Those were fun. Remember those? Ever do that?
Damn.
Boom baps.
No, I mean, listen, I just knew right off, literally like the first 15 seconds, I was like, this isn't it. I mean, but I'm just weird like that. You guys know how I am.
No, it's your
Fuck, you know
taste.
what I mean? That's-
You know.
And again, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I feel. I just wasn't
Come on,
into
you
it.
don't have to. You know, come on. If you hated it,
Yeah.
you hated it.
It is what it is.
Perfection.
That's gonna be a crap.
A no. It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
I just feel like it had a good bop, but it was dated, and it was just a loop the whole song. So
Right.
there was no transition. There was nothing
Yeah,
that kind
feel
of
the
like
same way.
you know. So
That
that's
was
a
it.
crap
I
for
would
me.
just wait. I like the, you know,
It was a
sometimes,
bop.
Yeah, it had a
sometimes
little
old school
something.
vibes
Yeah.
is fire, but again, I wanted to hear transitioning.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Right.
hear more elements,
Yes.
not just like a basic 8-bar loop. You know what I mean? But
yeah, the execution wasn't there. I thought it could have had potential though.
Yeah. If it had like a dope switch up, that would have been a blap.
I mean, if you think about it, that's some Swiss beats. type of
that's what I'm saying.
vibe. Now, if you get to master that flow and get the switch ups and all that other elements in there, then now we talking.
When I thought it had a lot of potential, especially the first like few bars.
When I heard it, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing where's that? But it never happened. It never happened.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so overall crap. I really do honestly think that does have potential. Just keep building on it. Just keep building on shit. Our next submission for today is by J Patz, Patz. J Patz with the submission.
That's fire.
Start it off, Mo. What you think?
That's fire. BLAP.
That's a BLAP. First BLAP. Yeah, Ross. Raw. Anyone who could rap.
Yeah. Insert.
Facts.
You know?
Even J. Cole type. Yeah.
Wale. A lot of people. I could hear 2 Chainz rapping on that shit.
Absolutely.
Like just talking this shit. I'm going to BLAP it too.
Yeah.
Someone with bars. Good job, man. There's really not much I can say.
Yeah, it's a BLAP.
It was a good, very well executed.
It's definitely a BLAP.
BLAP from Atlas. There you go. All right.
Good shit.
Perfection, you liked it?
Yeah, I fuck with it. I felt indifferent about it, about giving it a BLAP or a crap.
You can crap it.
Sounds like
too late.
I'm gonna BLAP it just because I feel like he did have all the elements of what the song is, like the transitions and the different kind of like bringing in different instruments and things like that. I would say though, I would focus on like sound selection. Like certain sounds sounded a bit stocky as far as the drums, but overall I think it's like ready to go. So I'll BLAP that.
Perfect.
Word.
Wow, we got a BLAP.
Yep.
All right, our next submission is by Don. He says, my name is Don Solo, and I'm a producer out of the Bronx, New York City.
BX, hey.
BX is here, so
BX is here,
listen,
so
Don,
now's your chance.
You got Mo here. You got Perfection here.
From the Bronx.
They're from the Bronx, so let's see what the Bronx could do.
Let me down, bro.
Let's go. Come on, man.
Change your life right here.
This is fire.
Mo got the vision for that already.
BLAP that twice for me.
BLAP that twice.
Word.
Don.
He repped for the Bronx.
This is what I'm going to do.
Of you.
Don, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to forward this to my man Mo right now.
Facts.
What's your... Oh, well, you don't want to
MOW.
MOW.
EZZ. bookings with an S at Gmail.
There you go.
My guy.
Easy. CC me.
All right, I'm going to CC Atlas.
Contact Atlas to plug at Gmail.
Might never know. Get a hit on that.
You know what I mean? That was hard.
That was fire though, no matter what.
Like as soon as it came on, like within the first 5 seconds, we all look at each other like, all right, this is something right here.
Nah, you already know. BX, come on.
Don Solo from the BX. I just forwarded this to Atlas and to Mo. You might,
the energy.
You know, go and play for some people. You might get a placement. You know what I'm saying? So good job, man. That was a BLAP.
Definitely good.
Yo, was that 3 BLAPs in a row?
2. No, 2.
Oh, 2. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Our next submission is by Ofe. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's OFEY. Here you go.
Why you gotta be so cold?
Sequencing issues.
Huge. Sequencing is such a big thing. I mean, you could have all these colors, but if they're splashed all over the place, it's just.
Well, he's playing in the background. I like that sound, but it's just like.
It's like having really good characters in a movie, but then watching the movie out of sequence.
Yeah.
So the sequence is very important. So listen, for me at least, I'll go back, sequence it a little better, take some of what Mo was saying, like
every 8 bars.
Play with those drops, right? Every 8 bars.
Create some drop, make it interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, make it interesting. That's another thing too. I think a lot of producers don't understand how important the sequence is. Because like someone like you, Mo, like they'll send you a beat, and then this shit gotta be sequenced, man.
Like once you send me a beat,
right?
I already know. I'm like, I mean, this is what I do every day. So I know at this point, I know when something is either missing something, or even sometimes producers submit a beat and it's like, this is my vibe. Like this is like, have you heard of Pink Sweats?
Yeah.
Bro, this nigga.
I love Pink
I just found out about this dude like 2 weeks ago.
He's phenomenal.
I'm tight. I'm super late. But anyway, all his songs is just straight up.
Yep.
Strings, like nothing. I was like, yo, that's fire.
Fire.
Again,
his writing is ridiculous.
OD. His voice, he's OD.
Everything.
He's a overall good artist. I
you
just
guys
found
up
out
on Pink
about
Sweats?
him.
Atlas, have you heard Pink Sweats?
I've heard the name.
You
I haven't heard
to listen
the music
to it.
yet.
You would love it. You would love it.
And then his visuals,
Tonight,
bro.
that's
This
on the
dude is a
agenda.
genius, bro. I don't even know, bro, but he's a genius.
Where's he from?
I'm not sure.
Pink Sweats is amazing. I met him. He's from New York.
Oh shit!
I met him. I had a session with IVJ and Pink Sweats like 2 months ago before he dropped all this stuff, and I think he's on Atlantic now. And I didn't know. It was an amazing session. I didn't know he had music as an artist this good.
Yeah.
Yo, bro. I just got put on, bro, and I'm telling you, the dude is fire. Never got the pleasure to meet him yet, but he's fire.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Pink,
Pink Sweats and A Boogie would be insane.
that would be different, right?
Oh my god.
Well,
Plus,
never know.
It's crazy because A Boogie's melodies are crazy. Like he has that pop sensibility. So I think if you put those
that
two
combination,
together, crazy. Our next submission is by Xander Ray. That's XANDER. Here we go.
I'm gonna give you a
Heard
BLAP
him.
for that switch, but you gotta bring that up, bro.
BLAP switch. Xander, again, sequence issue. Like what Mo said, you gotta. That changeup was needed earlier because it was repetitive at first.
I thought you was gonna be ready to stop it already, and like it dropped
And
right
it
there.
switched, and
so
it switched.
Bring that up further, closer, bro. Like bring that in.
Shout to Xander. He said, "Love listening to BLAPCHAT. I've been producing for 6 months. This is one of my favorite
okay.
beats. Amazing.
6
Whoa,
months.
That's 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
6
nah,
months?
bro.
In
Yo,
the 6 other months, he'll be good.
hit me up. I'm about to put
For
you.
6 months.
Hey, Xander, listen. I'm about to
Change your life.
Change your lives out here on
let me forward this to
BLAPCHAT.
Mo.
You doing
Yeah.
this in 6 months? I can only imagine what the next 6 months is gonna be sounding
Lock
like.
it in.
So
Yeah.
Xander, I just
in.
forwarded this to my man Mo again. Mo is out. Mo got the
You already
ears,
know,
man.
bro. I'm ready.
Come on, he's out here.
You know what
He's
it
ready.
is.
Lock it
Let's
in.
go. Man,
Bruh.
2 BLAPs and 2 craps today. Not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out
anything-
my BX producer dude that just set
Word.
that fire.
That's so
Man,
crazy,
down, bro.
BX in the building.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy that I just picked him randomly and he was like, I'm from the Bronx. And
Talking
That's
about the
very
BX, you seen all the just all the big moves that's been going on in BX,
No.
Cardi, Don Q, A
Oh
Boogie,
yeah.
even that kid TJ,
Yep.
It's
Smokey
serious.
Mangella. It's crazy right now.
Is Don Q from there too?
Yeah, definitely.
he's
Don
from
Q's from
High
my
Bridge.
neighborhood.
Is
grew up with Don.
Rocky from Bronx too? Or is he-
Rocky's
is
from
he
Harlem, I
Harlem.
believe.
Is he
Rocky's
Harlem?
Harlem. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought he
I
was
think
Bronx.
12E's from the Bronx.
Okay,
They
yeah,
said
'cause some of
12E.
them were from the Bronx.
Word.
Crazy, man. Atlas, anything you want to plug before we wrap it?
Oh man, plug. Woo, man. I mean,
You
we got
are Atlas the plug.
We got yeah. I mean, we're doing Nick Pap's beat battle.
Okay,
this
fire.
month, so definitely check that out. Next month, I'm doing open mic. You know, I know I've been talking about it on the past few episodes, so I'm
Oh,
actually.
you
gonna
know I'm pulling
execute
up,
it.
shutting that down. Y'all better
Oh, yeah.
bring it, because my boys is gonna.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
come on.
Mo's pulling up to the open mic. It's called Plug Up, Play Shit. So basically, it's open format to rappers, producers, opera singers. I really don't care. You could be a dancer and you want to you have the track ready to go. You want to play and rock out for the people. So if you're interested in that, just follow me, Atlas the Plug, ATLAS the Plug, on all platforms. And just
So that's
shoot
a
me
good
DM.
opportunity for someone who wants to showcase something to a crowd.
Yeah,
in a club.
yeah, and the cool thing is you can do it in different ways. Like, you know, I was telling you I don't want to drop the guy's name, but this is a big guy in the music industry who's been working on music but wants to put it out in kind of a quiet way. So he's going, he's set up. He got a slot and he's playing it under like a different name.
Oh wow, that's fire.
Right, but he's gonna be in the crowd. It's going to be a lot
He's
of fun.
not going to be
That's
on
great.
stage?
He's not gonna. He doesn't want to be on stage.
So he doesn't.
dope.
So he get the unbiased.
Exactly, he doesn't want to be on
I
stage.
think I'm gonna do that too, Alex.
Yeah,
fire.
yeah,
That's fire.
Yeah, actually, me and Il were talking about some surprises for that, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it's
I'm
cool.
gonna walk in there like Jeff Staple,
Yeah,
the other bald Asian guy in the industry. No, I'm Jeff Staple, man. That ain't. I don't know who that is.
Word.
That's
so
his
yeah,
name.
so that's gonna be fun. Yeah, so that's really what we got going on for the next 2 months. If you're interested, so.
Word.
Oh, and also respect the engineer. Shout out to Cruz.
Yep.
Word.
I know we gave him
Shout
big
out my
shout
bro
outs.
Cruz.
You know, it's great to see the engineer community
Get
start
together.
being
Yeah.
recognized
Facts.
for all the work and
For
the
real.
time and
Yeah.
the long hours and missing the kids and missing family and
For
just
real.
no sleep and traveling and what people don't understand is when you're an art engineer, and I just know from being around these guys for so long that depending on what type of situation you have, Mo has a very fortunate situation for him, whereas like he said, even though he didn't have to do the intern things in the hotel, he learned everything from the ground up, from the
Yep.
bedroom, found A Boogie in a deli and they were
Facts.
recording in the bedroom and
Yep.
and now he's got plaques for that, guys. So just
Word. I
think
went
about
platinum
that.
off of recordings and mixing that I did in that bedroom too.
Amazing.
So
Take that as not only a lesson, but just being mindful that it's possible.
definitely,
Apply it. You got to
There's
apply
always-
yourself.
Guys,
gotta
we're
be
seeing
positive.
We're seeing these success
Positivity.
stories, these success stories happening before our eyes, and so if you guys are failing to be open to that and not believe in yourself and really envision that it can happen for you if you're passionate, then you're missing out. So really, it's just a change of mindset. But man, yeah,
and also too, real quick before we wrap, believing in yourself, but also believing in the artist and seeing that vision early
Exactly.
before anybody else sees it. We talked about, if if an artist sends you a track and the producer's first thing is like, yo, what's the budget? Because I got to get paid because I just paid for this MPC and I got Pro Tools and these plugins are expensive and I got a studio. Like, I get all that.
You're closing doors before they even open,
exactly.
bro. Chill out.
You're closing doors. So just keep that in mind.
But you see, I've never like seen myself be that kind of person. Like, oh, I pay for Pro Tools, so I got to get that money back.
Yeah,
no, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not rushing to get that couple
with me, it was even
back.
more. I was like, yo, I need somebody to get good at. Like, I need an artist to
practice on.
Even when you're a barber, like, you need fucking people's hair cut up and like all
I never
like,
looked at it like, oh, I need, to make money to pay myself back from what I like. That's an investment. Eventually it's gonna come. So when you like try to rush to just get your money back for what you bought or whatever, that's all you're gonna be focused on.
Right. And like what Mo said, you're closing the door before it even opens.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Shout out to you guys, man. Stay on it. Shout out to all of our producers, our engineers, our rappers, our singers, all the above. Even just regular
entrepreneurs,
and just regular fans, man, who are just curious about this stuff. Shout out to you guys. This is episode 100. We fuck with you guys. We'll see you next time. Shout out to Mo in the building.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Alice.
so much,
Illmind.
Appreciate you, brother.
Facts.
And we out. Episode 100. See you next time. 101.